Drive out into Aberdeenshire, and behind me here is Cairnmount, which is a big mountains, hills that you can drive right over. I'm not going to go over them today, but I was just coming for a wee drive. It's a lovely day, and I'm just about to turn around and head back. But I've been driving very gently and carefully as motoring along. And there's a fellow ZOE owner who has really kind of set a standard for us to strive to in getting about I think it was over 138 miles out of a charge, which is very impressive. And so I have been pootering along and averaging just over 5 miles per kilowatt hour, which is not bad. And I have been climbing up into the mountains, so up into the hills. So I would fully expect that to go up a bit more on my way home when I turn around. I'm not going to be able to do a full empty charge here. I don't really have time, but you can see I'd already done about 10 miles, and I am 2/3 on the battery and 79 miles left. So certainly over 100 miles anyway, easily. But I thought while out here I could talk about some of the things about the Renault ZOE that I haven't talked about before, little kind of niggly things. Some of these things are things that issues that you might have on any car, and some are particularly related to being an electric car, and an affordable electric car, I should say. So down here there is a kind of storage compartment. I've got a bottle of water in here which I'll take out. Now this wee doobly down here has got your auxiliary in, and the SD card which has got all the maps on, and then I've got a 64 gigabyte USB stick which has got umpteen albums on, so lots of music that's on that. So when the car was launched, a lot of journalists were talking about the SD card, and that it was a crazy design because it kept popping out, because it's just like any SD card, you press it and it pops out. Now I've had the car since January, so we're about 8 months, 5,500 miles or so. It has never popped out at any point, and that is including having bottles in here, and my phone is often in there. So that is a weird one. I don't, sometimes when journalists, they get a wee notion, and if somebody says something, I've noticed this a lot about all kinds of things, whether it's technology or book reviews or whatever it is. If one journalist says something, then all the rest jump on the same thing as an issue, something to think about. It has never been an issue. Weird. Something that has been an issue is in fact, let me go to music here. In the last upgrade, and the upgrades are usually done using the SD card, and you plug it into your computer at home, and it'll load new software for the R-Link on there, and then next time you plug it in, it updates, which is usually fine. But the last time, or maybe a couple of times ago when it did this, it has stopped the auxiliary from, you can't select the auxiliary any longer. Now I'm reliable. Now I never use it, so it's not an issue because I always connect through Bluetooth or USB. I'm using for other music streaming or from the USB. However, it would be nice to have this working. I'm told that if you reset the like unplug it, pull the fuse out and reset it, it will bounce back, but you lose all of your sat-nav settings. So that's not great. Next time it's at having a service, I'll see what they say about that. So that's not a great thing. The boot, including little video camera. Now that is absolutely fantastic. Love the wee camera. The boot is an absolute fine size. I have no problems with the size of the boot. The quality of the trim is cheap and nasty. It is not very nice in here, but the general size is absolutely fine. Now what I don't like is this painted bit here, because that is, I've been trying to be really careful, but it is going to get so scratched up as the years go by. I'm going to investigate getting some kind of cover to put over this, but a plastic cover or something over that would make such a difference in protecting it. Otherwise, the boot's great. This thing, the bag for putting the cable in my mind, complete waste of time. It's such a faff to coil it up tight enough to get it in the bag. I just throw it in. Waste of time, the bag. Nice idea, but waste of time. Love the little detailing on the lights and that kind of thing. I think it's really good. Now, here's another wee thing, and this is a modern car issue. There's no kind of guttering up here, just to keep rainwater, so that when it's coming off the roof, it runs down here. It's all reliant on the guttering in the rubber seal, and well, you can't really tell, but it is not deep at all. If you look at some other cars and other cars I've had, it is much more efficient. You see it runs down here and then it pours it down into there. So if it's a really rainy day, what tends to happen is when you open the driver's door, you get a drips of water coming down, where it's just, I guess it's collected in the kind of seal, and there's just too much here, and it comes down, usually all over here as you open it, and it drips down on you. Again, it's not a huge issue, but it's just a little bit irritating. Nice little details. On the passenger side, you actually have a little pocket here which you can store stuff in. There isn't one on the driver's side, but there is one here, so papers and things like that can be stored there. I will do the bonnet. Oh, and if anyone is in any doubt about how ridiculous the glove box is in a French car, look no further. Thank goodness you have this little bit here. Oh, and great investment is the armrest, which does give you a bit of extra storage inside and makes the car a lot more comfortable. Very nice indeed. I really like that even on a wee car like this, hydraulic struts for the bonnet. Nice touch. Autumn leaves, of course. The electrics, I've had no cause to look in here at all other than to fill the washer fluid. Nothing to worry about here. So what you do get when you're charging, there's all of the electrics here do whine. You get noise from it, and the faster it's going, the faster the rate of charging, the more noise you get. And that's in addition to the cooling fans kicking in and making sure everything keeps cool. You can see here some of the pipe work for the cooling, because there is actually coolant here and a small radiator which pumps obviously coolant through just to make sure everything's kept really cool. So hence the fan that does blow to keep the radiator cool. All silent at the moment, of course, because it's switched off. The car is filthy, my apologies for that. But again, the lovely details in the lights, the little ZE logo and all of that stuff. Very nice indeed. It hasn't been an issue for me, but it's not a split fold rear seat, and it would be nice if it was, but it isn't. As I say, it's not been an issue for me as yet. We have a bigger car that I'll use if I need to transport other stuff. And then again on this side you've got a pocket that you can put papers in, which you can of course reach from the driver's side because it's on the passenger side, and there is stuff in there, so kids have obviously been jamming things into it. One of the other issues that has been flagged up a lot with the Renault ZOE is the dashboard and the top of the dashboard here, because it is a light colour with a windscreen that is at quite a sharply raked angle, so you do get a considerable amount of reflection on the screen. If the dashboard was black, it wouldn't really be so much of an issue, but because of the light color of it, you do tend to get more reflection. So it's not really troubled me too much, though it is noticeable. You probably can tell it at the moment. You can see particularly the reflection of the darker vents which show up on the windscreen, but it does cause a lot of other people some bother. And I have had a couple of occasions where I've been driving right into the sun, and just the way the kind of angles have worked, the screen has almost kind of blanked out in front of me, which is not very safe. And so apparently the kind of revised version of the ZOE that is going to be going on sale at the end of this year or onwards, they have changed the color of the top of the dashboard, so it is a darker kind of charcoal color, which will remediate some of that. There's been some talk about whether they would actually retrofit to already sold cars that as a kind of safety issue. I'm not going to hold my breath on that one happening. Would I do it? I mean, I like the lighter ambiance of it, what is here, but for those occasional moments for safety, I think the darker color would probably be better. And it's not just the color, it's the kind of texture of it. It has this funny, slightly shiny kind of texture, so that when light hits it in just a certain way, it really does reflect the light a lot. And that undoubtedly is an issue. Doesn't spoil the car for me at all, though I know other folks do feel more strongly about it than I do. I think polarizing sunglasses apparently help a lot, and I do have some kind of clip-on ones that I keep in the car, but yes, that could help if it's very sunny weather for driving along. Another wee glitchy thing is, now this one I'm going to have to go right underneath just so you can see. It's just the way the design, the left hand, you can see the accelerator brake pedal. Look at the mess, that's shocking. And you can see the steering column going through there. Now, when you kind of have your foot kind of resting up here, it's sometimes the top of your foot just catches on that steering column. If you just have your foot over on the rest there, it's not an issue at all. But occasionally you suddenly feel your foot being pushed one side or t'other because the steering column is rotating round. So it's just a quirk, I suspect, of the right-hand drive models that you maybe don't get on the left-hand drive models. Very little thing, but one of those things. Just went down to the because I was passing at the Falls of Fuside, and I mean, it's beautiful, really, it's stunning. But of course, the salmon are heading back up the D at the moment, so it is a brilliant place to watch them desperately trying to get up the falls. And there's a coach load of folks there on the bridge at the moment. There's a restaurant and everything here as well. But every time you saw a salmon, there was this woo and oh no when it didn't make it down. It's like watching the fireworks. Brilliant, amazing, absolutely amazing. Well, I am on my way home, and you can see here that my average consumption is indeed heading up, 5.25 miles per kilowatt hour. Not bad. We'll see what it's like when I get home. Well, I'm almost home, and you can see my average, my economy has been tracking up and up and up. So 5.5 miles per kilowatt hour. So bearing in mind the car has around about 22 kilowatt hours available within the battery. The battery's a bit bigger than that, but there's a kind of inbuilt buffer which allows for a bit of degradation as well within the battery over time. But if they allow you 22 kilowatts or so before it goes into kind of limp home mode and all of that, you can see that would give a nice range. So I'm not even at half battery. I'm just over half the battery, and the range is 62 miles left on the range gauge. So we're looking at 120 odd miles in my eco driving mode, as I'm doing at the moment. I'm going to see if any of the kids want to go out and see these salmon leaping, because that was spectacular. Really cool. All right, enough of that. Now I wonder what my score is going to be after my driving. Always the challenge. Look at that, 99 out of 100. Not bad. 10 kilowatts used and 57.7 miles. 3 kilowatts back. Very efficient.
Go.
There's been a few days since I charged up, and I'm on my kind of super efficient driving, kind of hyper-miling driving. A lot of coasting, so very gentle on the throttle, so you're just getting it in between energy going in and it recuperating energy back, so that you're just coasting along, and you get the kind of feel for it, where the right spot is to do that. So anyway, I have just tipped over 100 miles, so you can see there 101 miles, and oops, as you can also see, I'm still got a lot of battery left, 20 miles left on the range. So this is looking like it's going to be my best attempt at a long range driving. And in fact, if I click on here, I'm averaging 5.29 miles per kilowatt hour. So that might go up a little bit by the time we get back to Aberdeen, because we're kind of going downhill at the moment.
I really want to.
Well, I've just picked up Andrew from Boys Brigade, and Emma's in the back. Hello, Emma. And we have 4% left on the battery, it said when we just got in the car. So the red warning light has been on, and we are at 116 miles we've done thus far. How much further do you reckon we can go?
4.
You reckon? Well, let's see, shall we? We'll go and find out. Well, we're nearly back home, and we did a bit of sort of driving around the block, and it has just come up with this limited performance little message here. Now, of course, I've been driving so gently and carefully that I'm not really noticing any difference, right? Look at my energy. This is my. I've been very parsimonious. Downhill's good, right?
No. Yeah.
Downhill is good. However, there still is performance here. It's not like it's completely ground to a halt or anything. What do you reckon? Should we go around the block here just to see?
Go around the block 2 times.
You reckon twice?
Yeah, that would be.
Should we go around?
The big one.
We'll go all the way around down through past Duthie Park.
Yeah.
See if we can go all the way down that way. Okay.
This is uphill.
Okay. Well, we still got a bit of. So I've been trying to be very careful and only using this first kind of notch up on your kind of throttle thing, and which is about kind of up to about 8 kilowatts you're putting in. So if I put the foot down, no, it's still giving me quite a lot. That must be up to about 25. So it's not super limited. I thought it'd be really limiting you to like 15 kilowatts or something. I'll get rid of the message and then put up the where is it? Here, direct consumption. Right, we'll go down this way, shall we?
Yeah, no, that's not good down this way because this is downhill.
So
Don't get any back.
yeah, I'm getting more back here. So if I but yeah, look, 16, 20, yeah, it's still giving you up to 20. I haven't
Let's see
floored
if
the
you
throttle.
can do 40.
Well, I'm a little anxious in totally flooring the throttle when I'm actually a little bit far away from the. Look at this. Whoop. What'd you think, Emma?
Cool.
Cool, huh? So we got. I've been purposefully trying to run it down to see what happens. I'm intrigued to see what happens. So I was maybe 400 yards away from the charger, and it started to lose power totally. So we are just going to have to tow the car with our other car the rest of the way back home, and you will see that there is nothing here at all. 0%. But it actually did a few miles with 0%, and you can see my total 128.5 miles, and that's all she had. That's all we had ready for us. But hey, good experiment. I'm glad it didn't happen on the motorway. It was only a 2-minute walk back home, but yeah, interesting. Anyway, so we're going to get it back to the charger, charge her up. That's the plan. Yee. Well, we are now being towed by our Picasso, which we have about, I don't know, maybe 300-400 yards to get back. Well, we're having to go the other way because we're in the kind of car park at the moment, just to roll around. So that's okay, not too far, thankfully. And when I got back to the car, so I kind of left the car for 20 minutes, it did actually come back on and say that there was a little bit of juice, but as soon as I tried to go, it just came off, and it's telling me now on the dashboard limited performance. So we'll go back and we'll see. Hopefully I have no problems plugging it in and charging up from this low battery state. Now I wouldn't do this all the time, obviously, but I have been now, what's this, 8-9 months since I've had the car. I've been always intrigued what it would do at a kind of, you know, failure when it is really running low on juice. So now I know how it will behave. That's quite useful, so for knowing how it goes. Doing this on a Friday night when it's not too busy, and we are not too busy as a family, which is a good idea. Right, of course, no power steering, which is a bit of a swine, and we've got a tight turn right here, so I'm just waiting for Carolyn to take up the slack. Ugh. And you suddenly realize how heavy the car is. All right. We are, with a nice tuneful sound going on there, back at the charging point. No problems. This is chiming because I had the lights on, isn't it? Instead of having it on auto, I had it on the side lights for coming back. And we will plug in. And over here. Plug in. So it says 0% ongoing checks, and you can see the limited performance thing there. So I did try that out today. Right, there we go. 4 hours 10. It's quite, well, 12 degrees. It's not that cold. And this is on our 7 kilowatt charger that we have near to the house. So here you can see what I've done, 129.3 with our little cruise back, and 23 kilowatt hours used. Where we are. Now let's have a look over here if we can get some more information. We'll have a bit more light on the matter. Right, where are we now? Let's have a look and see. Vehicle and the onboard computer. So my average 5.4, that's not bad. 129 miles. So I did 128.5 miles. Well, 128 miles with power. Half a mile or so, gently coming to a halt, and then so that's us on a full charge. So that's by far the most I've managed on a full charge. And maybe this is not the best way to end this, but I was intrigued to know how the whole how this went on. You know, how it what happens when it fails. So that's been fascinating for me as the user of the car. So I now know what the car is going to do when it if I ever get to that point, which is going to be very rare. But what was clear is that there was quite a lot of extra time, extra miles after it went. You kind of think it was at zero. So there's a little leeway built in there to try and get you back to a charging point. Now, of course, you're never really going to push it as far as I was doing there. And so it shows even those times when I've been down to sort of 1-2%, there's probably at least another 10 miles left in the car. I wouldn't want to use that, but it is there. So yeah, it's good to know. So I will leave the car and let it charge itself back up. Wee little Zoe, what a good job you did, despite being abused. Terrible, isn't it? Anyway, that's enough for Zoe number 9. See you later.